Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for joining me once again on this Reverse Recruitment 0% Growth LTC. Today we find ourselves in the desert, which means we need to bring lots of water. Fortunately, I have found someone who is roughly 70% water.
Yes, and levels are increasing as we speak. And I'm Shar,
Hello.
and I'm glad to be back.
Glad to have you and your hydrated self back.
Yes.
Okay, so today we are, as I said, in the desert. This is 4-3, where our objective is, once again, to rout the entire enemy army. It's a big map, and the desert terrain penalizes movement for most unit types. We have brought most of the other unit types that don't get penalized, such as mages and flyers and beast Laguz.
That's right.
Yeah, so we're going to do our best to keep ourselves moving as we go. We had a bit of opening combat. Tormod could have procced Flare and made it so that Laurent didn't need to attack there, but it's funny, so I enjoy it.
Getting a kill with the first unit in the game in part 4 is always a good time.
Yeah, check that off the bucket list. And then Caineghis traded Laurent to the Restore Staff. You have to take away the weapon because that takes priority when you re-equip weapons after trading. But we want Laurent to have the Restore Staff equipped because he will get targeted by one of the two status staves on this map from bishops in the very bottom.
Yeah, it's worth noting that those staves have extreme range compared to what they normally would. They cover, like, there's a couple tiles at the top of the map that they don't reach, but they basically reach the entire map.
Yeah, practically speaking, just any unit is in range. There's a L Sleep and an L Silence. So, this will be a bit of a running theme. Our Ravens are not strong enough to one-round enemies, but they're fast enough to have decent chances to proc the Tear skill. That is a speed-based skill, speed divided by 2% chance to activate. And if we get that, we do a bunch of extra damage and pretty much guarantee the kill there. So we just kind of have to rig some stuff. It's how it is sometimes.
Yeah, and that's why both Vika and Nealuchi got Tear at the beginning of the chapter.
Mm-hmm. With the Satori signs, which grants mastery skills to Laguz above level 30 when used.
Yeah, and then just there we got to leverage Nasir's white pool with Tormod.
Yep, for the first time. And then, okay, that's fun. Muarim put himself in range of the Purge Bishop because he is our Resolve Scroll wielder on this map. And so he has so much defense that it's hard to set that up any other way to get him below half HP. But thankfully, that helpful bishop, I call him Skillius because he is a very skillful user of Purge for us. So he's doing us a solid.
Yeah, in my own 0% playthrough, I was using Skrimir in a similar role, and I had to get him hit by there's a fire mage in sort of the center who actually does enough damage to him.
Oh, really? Okay.
Purge guy doesn't.
Interesting. Okay, here's the first sleep staff, and it's always Haar, man. It's always Haar somehow.
It is.
Haar has 6 res, by the way, and Nasir has 4. So, if they're just wanting accuracy, then in theory Nasir is the ideal target, or maybe it's 100 on both. That wouldn't surprise me. But, they really like to sleep Haar, and I'm sure anyone else who has played this map casually and brought Haar along, has experienced something similar. So I wouldn't be surprised if there were something somewhere in the bowels of the game code that, makes sleep stabs want to target Haar for character reasons.
Yeah, he does like taking naps.
He does really enjoy that. I'll have to ask Sal. Yeah, that'd be really funny.
Yeah, it's super effective.
Yeah, we have Lyre. Say hello. So she
is fast.
She is fast. That's the one thing she really has going for her. She has 32 speed, which doubles the Swordmasters, and Lethe, who is kind of our alternative Cat Laguz, only has 28. Only, I say, but that matters.
Yeah, I mean, at this point.
Okay, so the fact that we equipped Laron with the Restore staff means that he healed from the Silence condition at the start of his turn, meaning that we can kick off this little rescue drop chain.
Gotta get over there and recruit Stefan, right?
Yeah, definitely Stefan. He is immune to the laws of this universe, I'm sure. Yeah, we haven't seen him before at all.
No.
In the meantime, Janaff attacks before Nealuchi there because we want Janaff to be building his strike rank. He's very close to S rank strike, and I'm looking forward to revealing how that becomes impactful. And so he gets chanted for here in order to have more chances to sharpen those talents.
Yeah, it's funny how that works out. That like you want to do the same thing in reverse recruitment and in like a regular playthrough with Janaff.
Really? Okay, so you bring Janaff here as well?
Well, not necessarily here, but just in general, like the training the strike rank. I think it's
okay.
in the normal playthrough, you're gonna probably hit it by the end of part 3. Like I think I got it in 3E in my playthrough.
Yeah, with how the availability works out for him.
Right. I mean, you can also do it with Ulki instead, but
True.
Janaff is generally going to be a bit better.
Mm-hmm. He's certainly better in our case at combat. Here,
Yeah.
this move might look a little strange, but if Elincia had not killed the Dragon Master turn 1 with a stun proc, Caineghis would have gone there to take him out. He does actually have a support with Nasir to slightly boost his accuracy there.
Or Nasir only has one movement.
Yeah,
in the desert.
he yelled at Tormod, and now he's very sad. Okay, so Vika procs Tear here. I will note that if I had not equipped Adept on Khalil in 4-1, Vika would have been a very good recipient here, because that is another speed-based skill, and increasing her ability to proc Adept or Tear or something on, you know, that sniper or a couple of the Dragon Masters she faced would have helped out reliability there. And Khalil doesn't strictly need the Adept Scroll. Mantle of Mordecai.
Yes. Mordecai the Invincible.
40 defense, man. Like, that's 8 more than Muarim.
Yeah. And Muarim's barely taking damage from some of these enemies, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's taking just enough where the Renewal skill is nice to have to make sure there's no real chance of death. Okay, tearing it up. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, not only do we appreciate it for efficiency's sake, but it's also fewer enemies that Mordecai has to consume gauge to fight.
Do you know whether you needed Vika to do any tearing on enemy phase there?
I think I was counting on her doing at least one. So over the course of, like, what was that, 4 hits? Probably decent
Something
chances.
like
Yeah, she's got 40 speed. It's speed divided by 2% and then biorhythm. So, not sure where she was in the curve on that turn. Okay. Caineghis once again on clean up duty.
And actually doesn't get one rounded by an enemy. Which
Very true.
Is, and pretty amazing at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, it is always nice when, like, units that joined early, whether that be LeBron or Nasir or Caineghis, you know, they're still serving functional roles that we would miss if they weren't here.
Which is a lot more than you can say of a lot of the Dawn Brigade in a normal playthrough.
Yeah. So we bought an extra Restore staff this chapter for Elincia. Turns out she ended up standing next to Laron and could have just yoinked his staff instead. I forget how much those cost, maybe like 2,000 gold, but small optimization there you could make. And here, we are very close to recruiting our savior in this chapter.
Right.
Yeah. Which again, totally Stefan.
Yep. Who else would it be?
Gasp.
What?
I like how you actually gasped and I said the word. Anyway, it's Jill, the angel of the desert, with 32 speed and 30 strength and access to axes and flight and all the great things that come with being a late game Dragon Lord. She's great. We love her. She is going to be so important for this run.
Imagine if you trained Jill, but then it didn't require any effort.
Right.
You just got high-level Jill.
It's pretty nice. Yeah, 30 strength in particular is pretty magical because with that she hits 49 attack, which, as you're about to see the next enemy phase, is going to be just enough to one-round all the Dragon Masters in her range. So that'll free up a lot of movement once we don't have to worry about those guys bearing down on us in the bottom right corner. Yeah, and Tormod, like, I thought he and Nasir would be working alongside each other more, but it turns out one move in the desert. No.
It's really bad.
It's really bad.
Well, and the problem is that it's you might think you have a lot of flyers and you can carry him around, and there might be a way to do it, but a lot of them are very busy.
Very true. Yeah, we had to get Laurent over there to recruit on turn 3. Elincia, I think, has to do some combat still. So, like, Ulki and Haar are still available. But
they'd have to get back and get him forward to somebody. And...
yeah, they'd have to travel all the way over there, and Ulki does have some other jobs to do in the meantime.
I want to point out, this is what you just did with Vika was the first instance of several, and I think where you revert a Laguz and then use a Laguz stone, because you can't use Laguz stone if you're transformed. I guess left as an exercise to the viewer is how many of, if any, of the times that you do that are actually required for completing the chapter.
Yeah, because you've been paying very close attention.
Yes.
Given the fact that you normally don't have nearly as many of these Laguz stones.
Right. For me, seeing all those Laguz stones consumed is like painful.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm like on a spree. I'm just having a ball swimming in them.
Just like giving them out like candy.
Yeah, it's not far off from the truth. So, speaking of Laguz gauge here, Muarim is going to face quite a bit of combat. We do have to manage that gauge. And to that end, Vika has moved within range of the Wind Edge Swordmaster right there. And Muarim not taking that round of combat will matter in terms of his action economy, not having to, untransform at the beginning of a turn and get totally neutered in terms of both movement and stats.
Yeah, and he has specifically, he has to kill somebody next turn in a position where, by doing that, then the following turn he would untransform at the beginning of the turn if he faced one more combat.
Mm-hmm.
Look at him go.
He's doing it. Okay, and is this? It is.
Yep.
Strike, strike. We're about to put that to use.
Oh, here we go. Master of exact damage, Jill.
Yep. 24 times 2 against 47 HP. 23 times 2 against 46.
No damage.
I mean, that's exactly no damage, so Mordecai's a master of that.
Yes, exactly. There she was. She had one more damage than she needed.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately.
Too strong. That guy should have rolled up on defense.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is really nice. Both the fact that she has enough strength and the fact that she wields axes, which not many of our combat units to this point have been axe users. If you think about it.
I guess on normal mode that actually matters for... Well, not really, because I guess all the lance users aren't the ones that she's getting exact damage with. It matters that she doesn't use a lance, I suppose.
True, but yeah, like, axes are just, in terms of base might, stronger than swords or lances.
Yep.
So, a 30 strength Falcon Knight, well, I guess you could use a Worm Slayer for the Dragon Masters at least, but certain other strength benchmarks you would want a stronger weapon type for.
Yeah, and not if they are using a ranged weapon, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now we are getting towards the southern end of the map where there are several non-aggressive bishops and enemies with ranged weapons. The generals down there don't move, and neither do any of those bishops, so they're kind of the pace setters in terms of how quickly we can finish this map.
Yeah, it's actually funny how those end up being some of the most annoying enemies in route maps.
Right, just the ones that you can't entice over with promises of combat and fun.
Right. Like, they're not threatening, but they are annoying to deal with.
They're just not cooperative.
Inconsiderate.
We had to rig another combat for Nealuchi to get Tear. And now we're about to embark on a shove train for Raisin. Oki here has some choices about where to move into, and I think what I eventually decide on doing here is sending him upwards to bait the crossbow user in that direction. It's like, I think there's some flexibility here. It's not super critical because of reasons we'll find out about in the next turn, but that's just what the thought process was there. Shout out to that one warrior. All his friends deserted him. We'll take care of him soon enough. But for now...
Yes. More exact damage.
Mm-hmm. With a point of attack from the support and 5 extra from S-Strength Strike, Janaff gets just enough damage to 1 round to New Widow.
Yeah, just in time.
Yeah, I didn't plan for that, but it's super satisfying how that ended up working out.
Is there a particular reason you needed to move Janaff down and left like that? I guess you needed to be able to reach the bishops next turn.
Yeah, I'm sort of...
And then get away from the generals.
Mm-hmm. I'm sort of clearing room a little bit for Elincia. Well...
I was just thinking, like, if you put him next to Raisin, he could get some healing, but it doesn't really matter anyway.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it's not super precise because of the amount of movement we have.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What is precise is this clown fiesta over here. So Mordecai attacked that guy earlier. Lyre did 6 damage, lived on 1 HP, and now Bastion will deal exactly 21 to finish off this random Dragon Master. Peleus, of course, would have been a much more reliable attacker, but I'm not certain whether Peleus would have distracted Skilius in his Purge attacks away from Mordecai, Vika, and Muarim. So,
yeah, Muarim in particular not have wanted to get hit for the same reason that he didn't want to get hit by the Wind Edge guy.
Right. And then Vika receives a shove here so that she can get out of range of that mage toward the bottom. Because we want the mage to go for Khalil, who has... Or sorry, Khalil, gosh.
Jill.
Force of habit, I guess. Yeah. Jill has a ranged weapon equipped.
Yeah, Khalil, Jill, they kind of run.
They do, in fact, run. That is how running works. Okay. Jill was healed up to full last turn by Elincia. She could have been at much lower HP than she was, so the safe play is to make sure she receives the HP from that Mend Staff. You once again distract the Wind Edge guy with some Laguz. By the way, that Swordmaster did not get doubled by Jill. She has 32 speed.
Right. Right, so you were saying earlier 32 speed is enough to double them with Lyre, but as you get like further down the map, the enemies do increase in level a little bit, I think.
That is true.
That's my recollection.
Yeah, that is accurate. I mentioned that for Prologue, but I actually didn't think about that with regard to the Swordmasters specifically until now.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah, it doesn't mattering like in vanilla too. There are like enemies towards the top of the map that Nasala will straight up one round, and then you get to the bottom, and there's some that he'll be like 1 point of damage short or something.
Mm-hmm. Yep, trying to keep up with potential level ups. So this guy broke formation, which was not something that I saw in testing, but fortunately Jill is here to save us.
Master of exact damage.
Yep.
Once again.
Yeah, again, 30 strength, magical. I guess good luck to whoever tries this on hard mode. Yeah, because all this exact damage probably wouldn't work out.
No.
Okay, so there is a bit of a discrepancy that I'll talk about briefly here. If I've done my job right, you've already seen it happen, but during commentary, it turns out that the footage we were using to talk over skipped a Vika combat where she goes over to kill the Wind Edge Swordmaster. So,
Yeah.
oops.
This was one of the cases where I was trying to calculate whether or not we actually needed to use a Laguz stone. That was how we noticed.
Yeah, and then we're like, wait, what? When does Vika kill that guy? We went to see his gauge, and then nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going nuts, like rewinding and making the video go forward again. I'm like, what did I do? Like, I know she did that.
Teleported. Oh, and here you can see Muarim at 3 gauge. So if he had had one more combat, he would have untransformed.
Correct. Which would spell impossibility for the move we want to make here, which is putting him in range of both Dragon Masters.
Right.
Here's trick number 2.
Yeah. Well, I think you've already done it with...
Or no, number 3, sorry.
Yeah, you did it with Janaff already.
Correct, and
Well.
Vika before that.
Right.
Well, that would have been exact damage, but Nealuchi had to show off, so... Okay, and from here, it's pretty much cleanup. Janaff has the ability to defeat either of this Swordmaster or this Halberdier. I end up picking the Swordmaster because that minimizes the potential damage Janaff has to take, and it makes sure he doesn't have to face any crit chance.
Yeah. Avoiding crit chance is always good.
Mm-hmm. So with that, Ulki's done his job. He can skedaddle, or will he?
And poor Nasir is just standing there like, I could have done that.
Yeah, he would have had a chance. I didn't move him very efficiently toward that spot. And then here's just more kind of unimportant fishing for items to demonstrate that I can.
Digging in the sand.
Yeah, there is something you noticed that I could have done here with Vika and Haar.
Yeah. The 2 Dragon Masters, or maybe only one of them, is in range to attack Vika, and Haar could have rescued her away. Just to make sure that they go after the targets we want them to go after. Which also means that Vika didn't need quite as much gauge because she didn't need to stay transformed at this point.
Right. Yeah, because Vika does not one round the Dragon Masters without a Terror proc. Oh boy.
Yeah, Jill, watch out.
So interestingly, what this does is, in this scenario, one of the Dragon Masters that could have gone for Vika now sees a possible lethal attack on Jill. And so, in a weird way, her being in danger here, like, is an AI manipulation that we'll see in a minute here. But it is spooky.
Yeah. We don't really know what the hit rates are.
Yeah, I wasn't ever frustrated to the point of calculating the hit rates. We get lucky, which is always nice. But yeah, who knows what the odds of survival were there. Oh yeah, he's here.
And then we let Zelgius clean up the rest.
Yeah, I actually just forgot to mention that he warped in at the beginning of the turn. Fun fact, you can't rescue him.
Yeah, and he has one movement, just like Nasir.
But with that, we finish out 4-3 in 5 turns. So thanks for hopping on and hydrating me for this.
No problem.
All right, join me next time to find out what happens when you let the big bad wolf queen into your house party. Take care, everyone. Oh.